2,104 days. Manchester United has not won any official trophy, which is the longest period in which they have failed to regain their former glory. It has been a time when the Red Devils wandered aimlessly on the path to success, seemingly without a way out. There have been many hopes and disappointments, and they eventually sank into the vast and indefinite void of the crisis until February 26, 2023. At that time, the club was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief and say to themselves, "This is our new bright horizon." On May 24, 2017, in Stockholm, Sweden, Manchester United faced off against Ajax Amsterdam in the Europa League final. The highlight of the game was the impressive performance of their reserve team, coached by Jose Mourinho. He had never lost a European Cup final before, and this time was no exception. The victory was especially satisfying as he raised four fingers to signify the 4 times he had reached the top of European football. However, that joyous moment was short-lived because of what happened next, as the season under Mourinho turned into a bleak and lifeless picture. In the second season of Mourinho's tenure, Manchester United played more steadily and effectively, starting with 9 wins in their first 11 matches across all competitions, scoring 33 goals in the process. However, their form declined starting with a return to Chelsea in early November 2017, and their targets began to dry up. Manchester United played with patience and suffered, despite their owner's generous investment of £170.7 million in shopping. They lost to a very strong team Manchester City with the nickname Centurions and a record-breaking 100 points. Mourinho began to complain more and more and preferred to stay in a separate hotel instead of sitting with the team. This was before everything really went wrong, and in the third year after a bad start to the 2018-2019 season, Manchester United lost their first 3 games, including a humiliating 3-0 defeat at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Mourinho became more arrogant and demanded respect from journalists when he raised 3 fingers to signify his 3 Premier League championship titles. He claimed that he had won more Premier League titles than 19 other managers combined. In the press conference following the next 4 days, Mourinho continued to make controversial statements. "I am the coach of one of the greatest football clubs in the world, and I am one of the greatest coaches in the world as well. I even use philosophy to defend myself, as you have never taken the time to read Hegel." He said, "The truth is always found in the whole picture, regardless of anything." Mourinho is still one of the top-class people. Even in the final minutes of the match between Manchester United and Chelsea on October 20, 2018, Mourinho caused chaos in the tunnel when Ross Barkley of Chelsea scored a 96th-minute equalizer. Chelsea assistant coach Marco Ianni celebrated the goal by running past the Manchester United bench and grabbing Mourinho's face. Mourinho angrily jumped up and tried to chase Ianni down the tunnel, with the intervention of security forces. As he sat down, some Chelsea fans continuously and loudly began to chant provocative slogans against Mourinho. When the match ended, Mourinho did not return to the tunnel but instead raised 3 fingers towards the Chelsea fans, reminding them that he had won 3 Premier League titles for the club. Mourinho could cite his victories in the National Cup and a season with 81 points, but everything is overshadowed by his negative tactics, public statements, relationships with players, and the management. The special one was officially fired on December 18, 2018, when MU ranked 6th and 11 points behind the top 4 with a poor run of form. We then enter the temporary coaching period of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a new wind after the last months of Mourinho's suffering in March 2019. Solskjaer led them to win the 14th victory in 17 games, a dramatic 3-1 win over Paris Saint-Germain to advance to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Take that contract, put it on the table, and let him sign it. "Let him write any number he wants in it," said the former United defender Rio Ferdinand in a BT Sport interview. "Ole is doing his job. He's doing his job." Manchester United is back, but after the glorious spring update night, unfortunately, Man United hasn't returned as Rio declared. In the Premier League, they only won 9 out of 11 matches in the stretch from March 2019 to February 2020. The deep and extensive 3-year contract appointment seems to have been evaluated wrongly. After that, they signed a contract with Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. In the 2019-2020 season, they were undefeated in 14 Premier League matches in the second half of the campaign. They topped the table from the beginning of November 2020 to the beginning of May 2021, losing only once in 28 matches in the Premier League, finishing second behind Manchester City. They also made it to the Europa League final, only to be defeated by Villarreal on penalties. As this is the season that Man United finished second with the lowest points in history, 74 points, not to mention a chaotic 2020-2021 season with the Super League event and the fan riots in the Manchester area. On April 18, 2021, Manchester United announced that they would join 11 other European clubs as founding members of the European Super League policy, a cup comprising Europe's top teams competing and leaving away from the UEFA Champions League. This announcement sparked fierce reactions from supporters of other clubs, media partners, players, and the UK government, forcing the club to withdraw just 2 days later. The failure of the project led to Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward's resignation, while protests against the Glazers and the Lazer family led to a siege before the match against Liverpool on May 2, 2021. The first time in the Premier League's history that a match was postponed due to fan opposition. Finally, the light shone again at Old Trafford at the beginning of the 2021-2022 season when Ronaldo returned, hailed as the prodigal son coming back. A wonderful feeling flooded Old Trafford once again, but in the end, it was still just a glimmer of hope in the stormy night. Solskjaer has paid the price for choosing an old player with a strong personality as the backbone. Interim coach Ralf Rangnick, despite bringing certain hopes with an impressive portfolio in Germany, ended the 2021-2022 season in a bleak, chaotic, and directionless manner. Another failed driver, more frustration, and seemingly incurable pain in the darkness with no sign of light. That devil got lost without an escape route. On April 21, 2022, Erik ten Hag has been appointed as the head coach of Manchester United with a 3-year contract and an option for an additional year after the end of the season. It has been confirmed that ten Hag has left the role of Ajax early to start a new job in England. At present, he faces a confused and uncertain team that is believed to be shattered and divided by instability in their play and tensions in the locker room. This was the time when Man United only won 2 out of 9 matches at the end of the season outside. Under the interim coach Ralf Rangnick, the team finished in 6th place. If at that time Arteta had to wait until the end of the 2019-2020 season to impose his will on the team, with Erik ten Hag, he could deploy his power early in his first season at Man United through the opening speech. If you want to develop something or if you want to create a winning culture, you have to seriously follow this path. People will do it their own way, but if you allow them to violate discipline, if you don't set standards of value and rules for the team and individuals, and if you don't have unity in the locker room, failure is inevitable. Ten Hag dares to speak, act, and take responsibility. The Dutch coach arrived at Carrington very early on June 27 to thoroughly reform the team that he inherited from Steve McClaren, who is someone with a deep understanding of discipline issues at Man United as he previously served as Sir Alex Ferguson's assistant from 1999 to 2001. Together, they established a set of behavioral rules to address the team's issues. The rules are as follows: limit back passes and horizontal passes. Players must improve their physical and body language, stop cliques in the changing room. The starting lineup is based on training results and there is no default starting lineup. Players are penalized if they are late and must comply with dietary discipline and other regulations. It is especially prohibited to disclose internal issues to the public. Ten Hag has accepted some significant risks to his reputation in exchange for the players' agreement, but he is not as rigid as his predecessors Mourinho and Ralf Rangnick. For influential players and veterans such as Ronaldo and Maguire, Ten Hag chose the path of least resistance. He did not exclude them even if they performed poorly. Ten Hag still gave these two stars opportunities to shine during the summer of 2022, hoping that they could help the team. Cristiano Ronaldo remains the team's main striker with 24 goals in 38 appearances across all competitions until the summer of 2022. Two humiliating defeats against Brighton and Brentford were like a cold shower for the team, still recovering from the immense pressure of high expectations. Who would believe in Lisandro Martinez's £56.7 million price tag after being overpowered by Brentford's Ben Mee, who stands at only 1.75 m? Or in a £70 million panic buy for a player over 30 with already enough glory at club level like Casemiro? No one also believed in a Ronaldo who seemed like a ghost on the field, lacking speed, fighting spirit, and trademark technique. Many probably thought that Ten Hag was just another failed signing for the team. This season with Man United was already considered a failure. Good things take time. Maybe those failures were just the push he needed to impose his philosophy more quickly and decisively. The best evidence of this was the triumphs against fierce rivals Liverpool and Arsenal right after. Ten Hag's football style gradually emerged, becoming more pragmatic and efficient. Scoring still came from counterattacks, but unlike the old era where the team retreated and waited for individual brilliance, Ten Hag proactively pressed the opponents high and created a synchronized pressure system on their half of the field. He also cut off the ball in midfield, creating more surprises, shorter waiting times, greater initiative, and higher success rates. The results began to appear. After the two initial defeats of the season until before the World Cup, the Red Devils only lost 2 more games, approaching the Champions League spots. Despite some narrow victories, people started to have faith in and a vision of Ten Hag. The transformation actually appeared when the strongest personality of the football team, Cristiano Ronaldo, was eliminated from the club. When the information that Jorge Mendes contacted with a series of football teams was revealed to the public, the Glazer family, CEO Richard have agreed with each other that they want Ronaldo to stay with Man United. As mentioned, he has influence. But everything has limits and Ronaldo has exceeded those limits and he has to leave. Ten Hag's firm handling of Ronaldo also earned the respect of his players and fans. Whenever Ronaldo violates, leaves the field early or refuses to enter the field to replace a teammate, Ten Hag takes disciplinary measures. From being demoted to training with the youth team, being removed from the squad list, and even terminating the contract. When the feet are freed from the shackles, the wings are also free. The Dutch coach has truly elevated the existing resources of Man United. He has turned the team from a weakling into a winning machine in a short period of time. Players who were thought not to play for Man United anymore are still there and they demonstrate high-class performance, typical of Marcus Rashford. He has scored 25 goals in 38 matches this season, contributing directly to the Carabao Cup victory this year. The transformation of Rashford, who is enjoying his best season yet, is certainly a standout example. The progress of other players also proves that Ten Hag is heading in the right direction. The Dutch coach has an overall view of the club's direction, but also takes time for each individual. Alongside Rashford are Luke Shaw, Fred, David De Gea, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Jadon Sancho, and Diogo Dalot. All have been revitalized under the guidance of Erik Ten Hag, contributing to the Carabao Cup title. After 2104 days, Man United can finally touch a trophy again. The current feelings are different from 6 years ago. It is not Jose Mourinho's selfish and conservative approach, it is Erik Ten Hag's firm, fresh, and timely response to the current situation. This is not a patched-up team due to injuries, it is a team full of vitality, unity, and above all, a spirit that is not afraid to face challenges. A historic comeback. 17 years ago, for 2 seasons in 2003 to 2004 and 2004 to 2005, Man United came away empty-handed amidst Arsenal's invincibility and the rise of the West London rivals. The League Cup title in 2006 was a necessary release and an important precursor to the successful period from 2007 to 2011. The pinnacle was 2008, from which Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo began to shine brightly. Although the future is uncertain and winning a trophy is not always a stepping stone to future success, under Ten Hag's leadership, it seems that this is starting to happen. Helping Man United defeat Barcelona after 15 years, stability and progress day by day in the Premier League, and ending a 6-year drought for trophies. For the first time in almost 10 years, the question has been answered. Man United has finally found a suitable coach. From the bottom of our hearts, we congratulate Manchester United on this title. A title that is a prelude to joy and bright expectations for a brilliant future. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe now for more videos.